What's up, guys? How are you? It's me, Hebot, coming back at you. I'm going to do a quick video. And this is to talk to the infamous King Thrash out here in these YouTube streets, because my man is lost in translation and people don't see how to break things down to him. So I'm going to try to educate this fool for his lack of comprehension and understanding of the English vocabulary and its words that it offers, right? He said, Phil Spencer said and used the word sustainable, so that means that they're not making profit off of Game Pass and that Game Pass is not profitable. First of all, Mr. Thrash, sit down and listen so that you learn something instead of acting like you're a leader when you clearly have no clue. First and foremost, the word sustainable means, by its own definition, that what they're doing as far as Game Pass with the service and the model is making enough money that they can continue to do it and the way that they do it. Paying developers a certain amount of money up front and then dividing any profits from whatever game sales they get afterwards through Game Pass and downloads. And yes, they pay developers up front, each and every one. But each and every one gets paid differently, because not every game is a big AAA game, or developer is not a big AAA developer. So it's not the same margin of price point that they pay for everybody. In case you try to be a wise guy and say, oh, but they're paying millions of dollars to everybody. No, that's not true. That's first of all. That's what the word sustain means. Sustainable means that you can continue to do it because it works. Now, another thing that you were talking about in your video, you did about defending Mr. Alex, whatever his name is, from over there from True TV or whatever the hell he's at, because he's a pony just like you, and that's how you look coming at this, because you're a very well-known pony and everybody knows that you try to pull the part of when people say they're making profits, how if they're paying $1 sometimes a month for Game Pass. That's one of the things, bright and argument points that you brought up when you were sitting down talking to Fatanga. And Fatanga was too high to even deal with you because you were rude and didn't even let him talk. But you think you beat people by being loud and obnoxious. And that's not how you have conversation. Not civil conversation anyway. First and foremost, you only allowed to get $1 offer for new Game Pass subscribers. That's not the 25 current active subscribers. That's for anybody new. And it's only for 1 month. After you get that offer, you never get it again. Everyone else pays $10 monthly for the regular one, or $15 for Ultimate, which includes Xbox Live as well. And 25 active subscribers mean that they're paying actively month by month for that year. It's not, oh, they just paid and bought into the active service and that's it. No, you're wrong. That's not how that works. That's why they said active subscribers. That means they continue to subscribe every month for the year. That's what active means. Concurrent active means that. If it wasn't active, then it would say we just have 25 million subscribers only currently on Xbox for Game Pass. Just like you try to compare the numbers for Xbox Live, which has nothing to do with Game Pass. Xbox Live is to play online only, and Xbox Game Pass is to play the service with all the games. Okay? So, if Xbox Live has 65 million current active users, right, and subscribers as well, and users, that means they are paying month by month, because it's a month subscription. Once it's over, right, it's over. Unless they give you a free deal or throw in a bonus deal where they give you an extra month for free, or even 2 or 3 extra months for free. They've done that sometimes as well. Then that's a different scenario. But that is, you know, from time to time with certain selected people that have been part of Xbox Game Live since the OG Xbox, or even that been there since the 360. That been long-time subscribers is what I mean, trying to tell you. Now, the reason why Game Pass does make profit and money, like Dustin Legary was pointing out, right, is because, and it could be upwards of $3 billion in revenue, which revenue is how much they made from that service, and then they break it down in profit, which goes to their pockets. So if they made $3 billion in revenue and put $1.7 billion in profits in their pocket, that means that was the profit they made. Okay? From that year's revenue of $3 billion. They're two different things. Profit and revenue is two different things. Now, on top of that, the reason why those games and those developers and Xbox is making money is because there's no middleman. When you put a game on Game Pass, there's no middleman. It's just Xbox and the developers. So whatever profit those games make in sales after they're on Game Pass, which they do make sales, don't act like they don't, and you PlayStation dudes love pushing that, moving that goalpost like they don't make money, okay? When they stick to sales, all those sales services, they get 70% of profit, the actual developer, and Microsoft gets 30% or 25% off the top from whatever sales they make for that year or even that month. I don't know how exactly it's broken down, but it's one of those two. Now, when you put a game physical on the store shelves, you have to pay out everybody else, like the store that carries it, the shipment department, the distribution department, those are the ones who pack it up and make sure they get it shipped out, the ones who provide the boxes, the ones who provide the box art, shelf space, and storage space. Then you split it with whoever else is with you, like if you have multiple publishers that helped you out, and then whoever console it's on. So if it's on Nintendo Switch, on Xbox, and on PlayStation, you got to pay them their percentage, and then you take whatever's left. That is how it works with physical. That's why physical medium, even though it may make big numbers in units for certain type of games, it doesn't make substantial profit in money. Unless, of course, it's something like GTA, right? Or something like Call of Duty that it sells beyond its numbers, even though it may be multi-plat, or because it's multi-plat, and they make enough money that they're okay. But then again, that's only one game and one developer. We're not talking about a developer that, or a company that owns multiple developers with multiple IPs, and each one of those games have to make top-tier money and dollars like that in order to even come close to those type of profits. That doesn't work that way. That's why in the 360 generation, a bunch of developers closed down. Maybe something that you might not know, but that's what happened. Even in the beginning of the Xbox One generation, with the developer, for example, that got published by Square Enix for Murder Soul Suspect, that game came out the day it did. I forgot the date, and that very day that it came out, that very day, they closed their doors because they spent so much money making the game, they could not see no profits because the game didn't sell and the game didn't have no type of pre-orders to back them up, to give them enough substance and income to know that they could keep their doors open. And that's just one example. There's hundreds of those types of cases yearly in gaming, because gaming is very expensive. And to make profit is a big risk because it's very rare that it does. That's why these big companies are buying developers and studios that have money to back them up in order to make sure that they're sustained. So if the game doesn't make money, they can still back them up to make their next project. You see how that works? Instead of closing down, which that's what Sony did with SOE. They closed it down because it wasn't sustaining enough money for them. That's what they did with Sony of Japan. They closed it down because even though they had the most unique games for their division, it wasn't making money because the fan base were not buying enough of those games. Okay? The same way that they cut ties with the team for Team Echo. The same way they let go of their relationship with the guys who did Until Dawn. I mean, yeah, Until Dawn and Ready at Dawn with The Order 1886, which was Ready at Dawn. And the same way they cut down the ties with the guys who did Drive Club and the Armageddon racing game that they used to have on PS3, okay, or MotorStorm rather. They broke down the division. They went to different areas, and they shut it down. That's why, because they weren't being sustainable. Okay, that's why they use the word sustainable for those types of examples. They're not sustainable. They're not profitable. That's what that means. When it means, and it says sustainable, that means it's making profit and making money. That's why Phil used that term. It's not because it's a play of words. Because if it wasn't making Microsoft money, they would not be investing more and more on more games with more studios with bigger titles, and they would be putting them on Game Pass day and date. No, they wouldn't. Because if you're not making money, you're not going to invest and take the risk putting more money into something that's not making you money. Why do you think PSN Network, although it's inferior in every way to Game Pass, because it doesn't have the exclusives day and date, and it doesn't give you good prices and a variety of new multiplets from third party, like the way Game Pass does, and it's not even something that's downloaded, with the exception of PS4 games. Everything else is streamed, and it's a horrible streaming service, right? Why do you think they still have PSN Network still open? Because it's a form of income for Sony. Sony makes enough money from that they can sustain it and keep offering it and not have to build more on it. But the reason why you don't see the exclusives day and date, like for example the God of Wars and the Horizon, is because they don't have enough money to take that risk to see if it does well, which it would. Because if you remember clearly, when they put God of War, even after the release, and I think it was Days Gone sometime 2 years ago, it brought up the sales and subscriptions for the PSN Network from 700,000 to 2 million. Which means people will buy because they want value for their dollar. Which is what this whole argument is about. It's giving enough value for their dollar for gamers. Meanwhile, these companies make money. And yes, they make money. People buy. Because you guys try to pull this notion that if a game's on Game Pass, that people don't buy the games, and that is a fallacy. Absolutely they buy. I'm one of those people. I buy all the time, every game that comes out. Whether it's right away or a little later, depends on the situation economically for me. But I get that freedom because of Game Pass. But to another point that you tried to say when you were talking for Tenga, you said, oh, look at the MLB, how they make some money. Listen, the MLB, the $100 edition was number one paid game, okay, on Xbox, even though it was on Game Pass, for a whole month. That means motherfuckers bought it because they liked the game, even though it was on Game Pass, because sports games don't stay, number one, on services all the time, and two, the roster always changes year in, year out, so they'll be different. Just like Forza. If you buy Forza, it doesn't stay on Game Pass, believe it or not. It's one of these exclusives that don't, because of the car licenses. Car licenses have to be paid every 5 years because that's the contract that they give you and the extension. And if you have to extend it again, you have to extend it for another 5 years. Microsoft is not going to extend that license for an old game when they're making the new version. That's why they pass it forward to the new game and do the licenses for the new game as opposed to the old game. So you have to buy the game physical at some point in order to keep the ownership of that entire Forza game, which I know you have no clue, right? Also, that is the biggest difference why Microsoft keeps making profits yearly. Because even though they're number 3 in revenue and Sony's number 1, Sony is always on the red. Just look at their stock market. They're $2 trillion in debt. Okay? And the money they're paying out is basically what they get back without paying the debt, trying to keep afloat, because they are a Japanese company that the financial rules from the American state don't apply to them word for word. like in the situation going on now. The reason why Phil and Microsoft made that statement just a few days ago or yesterday about leaving games like Call of Duty, right, and Activision future games after the contract is over on PlayStation is because the law is going after them with these stupid legalese stuff and clauses that are going on right now. But if everything goes through and it passes through, right, with flying colors, with no problem, because they didn't go and buy Activision. Activision came to them to buy them because their investors quit. They wanted out. Then, after it's all said and pen and paper, they can do however they want, whatever they want. If they want to change their mind and say, no, we're not going to do it, they can do that. Because Sony cannot sue them. The contract is over. It's official. As long as they meet those contracts, and if they have a deal where Call of Duty has to come out to only 2024, once that's over, after that, they don't have to keep making it. Because there's no contract forcing them to do that. And that's completely 1000% legal. Okay? So the fact that you're saying that it don't make money without being working at Microsoft, without knowing numbers, without even knowing the rules, shows how incorrect and foolish you really are. Okay? You need to hold yourself back. Stop getting so irate and within your feelings. Let people speak to you. Let people explain to you so that you actually learn something. Because if you don't do that, you're never going to learn anything. And you're going to keep looking dumb. And just because you're from the hood, which I'm from the hood, I live in the projects, you doesn't mean you got to speak thug, or you got to speak with italic type of language or street cred, street lingo. You can teach yourself to speak like a proper, educated human being. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing difficult with that. Stop using that excuse running with that when you talk to people. I speak a certain way. It's about the culture. Bullshit. You speak like that because you choose not to make sure that you learn something and make yourself intellectually, intelligent more than what you already have. You don't choose to educate yourself. And you can, if you really wanted to. So that's what I wanted to say in this small little video to you. I hope it registers, because that's the bottom line. Game Pass makes money because there's no middleman. Remember that. But when you make it physical, there's a ton of other people you got to pay. So the profits are not as big and margin as you think they are, or as people in the community think. They have this perception that's how it is. That's the whole reason behind the idea of the DRM that Microsoft wanted to do. So when you went to GameStop, they wouldn't charge you $55 for a used game that just came out yesterday, brand new, and give you only $25 and then sell it, and then they sell it for $55, just $5 off the price tag, used the very next day. Because if the game had to be paid to activate it through the actual developer, then you would have to buy the game from GameStop, which is basically a disc that's not active, for a cheaper price, because they can't sell it to you more expensive because it has no value. They would have to, the only value is just the disc to get access to it. You would have to go to GameStop and you would get charged maybe $20 for the game. Then when you got home, you paid the developer an activation fee of maybe $10 or $5. This would protect you as a consumer, and then protect the developer from losing money that GameStop consumes themselves, because after that first initial sale, when you bring a game back used, when they sell it and resell it, that money just goes to their pocket. It doesn't go to the industry, the developer, or nobody else. It just goes to GameStop and their pocket. Okay? That's why physical medium is such a fine thread, and why they want to move away from it in a lot of ways, because there's not enough profit to be made there no more. And the developers and the publishers and the studios that own these developers are the ones that lose out big time money. That's why when you see a game unlimited run, they charge so much money for a game that should be only $15, like a shoot 'em up, because they have to pay for the artwork, the distribution, and everything else they provide in that package, for paying everybody that creates that and that helps make that bundle in order to get that game physical out. And they have to be a certain amount of games only that they can produce and print, because it's within a budget. Because if it's not, then, They don't keep value and retain it, so nobody can sell it in the third market. And then they can't charge you the $80 because they won't make no money. If they make too much, it has no value, and they can't sell it to you for more money, and they don't make enough money. That's why physical is the way it is when you see it through limited run. That's the whole point. Anyway, leave a thumbs up if you liked the video. Leave a thumbs up if you didn't like the video. Share it with someone you think might like it. It's just my thoughts that I wanted to tell to Mr. Cream Thrash, that I keep hearing his hot takes in and out, and so many other things that he said is completely off the wall. He has no idea. He's lost in translation. He thinks he's so smart, but you're really not, brother. You really not. And you have to. The only way you will be able to know that you're not is by being actually in a conversation with someone that actually knows detail for detail how the things work in anything that topic you bring on, whether it's business, game sales, the history of gaming. Like, you bugging. You really lost in translation, brother. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for all you that continue to support me. Without you, my channel's not sustained. Anyone new to my channel, appreciate you so much. Thank you for stopping by. If you subscribe, I appreciate it. I'm completely humbled, because without your support and with the growth, I can't grow. And obviously you didn't have to. So if you did, it means the world to me. But remember, I consider you now part of my family. You guys can find me always on Instagram under C_respect. On Twitter, you can find me under the most powerful gaming historian. You can also find me on Twitch when I do live streams from time to time on under he_bot8 powerful gamer. Capital H, lowercase e, underscore. Every other word is lowercase. What you put is bot8 powerful gamer. And you'll find me under there if you want to follow me there when I do my live stream for whatever it is, games, that I'm streaming. All right, guys, you know what to do. I'll see you soon. Peace. Bye-bye.